Hello and welcome back. What you see before you is gameplay with Ashes of Creation. I'd highly recommend to go and see the original link. There's a lot of great information from Ashes of Creation, the new MMORPG that's going to be coming out. I think the projection seems to be in around June. Don't keep me to that. They're still in alpha, I believe. I think it's stage 2, but I might be wrong on that. One of the things that I'm looking forward to with Ashes of Creation, a new MMORPG, it's trying to collect my thoughts here. They've done something phenomenal. I've been thinking about this for quite some time, and it's one of their selling points with Ashes of Creation. It's that the method at which, if anybody doesn't know what Ashes of Creation, I think, was developed originally, you can watch this through one of their Q&As. I think they've had like a 24-hour live streamed, and I think they raised up to $80,000. I think for a charity. That's just what they were doing for a 24-hour live stream. I was fortunate to find a clip in that where the CEO of the company, he wrote this game years before, playing it with a lot of his friends, and it's just he was developing the world as he went, and the idea kept growing and growing and growing until something solid while he was playing with his friends. The thing that he has that's the most important part, I think, of everything, get to it already, it's the node system. And if anybody doesn't know what the node system is, there's roughly 50 to 150, again, numbers a little bit vague, 50 to 150 nodes that you can capture. These nodes that you can capture, when you capture a node, the surrounding nodes are incapable of being captured. So with your guild, if you wanted to create a new, not plantation, a new settlement, and then you can develop that into a village, and then that into a town, and then that into a citadel, into a capital city. Like, you can develop your city as you go. Based off what you do, based off what you collect, your resources that you gather, the quests that you do, and the ecosystem that you create, because there's even taxes in the system and elected officials that you get to elect with other players. It's absolutely fantastic, and I'm fascinated by the intricacy of how everything is going to be playing out. One of the most amazing things that I've seen with this is the node system, because in games like Fortnite, I know Heroes of the Storm, there's probably not that many players rushing to that game anymore, since there's not been much development or new things that have been created. The brilliance of the node system is like Fortnite. If anybody doesn't know what Fortnite is, it's a battle royale where I haven't played it, so I might not know the numbers, I just know of it. Where about 40 players are dropped into a map, and it's a very common thing that we're now seeing with Apex Legends, where everybody is dropped into a map, and then it's last man or last team standing, and the team can consist of either 1 to 3 players, maybe even up to 5, depending on what game you play. The brilliance of what Fortnite is able to do with that is that it's a constantly changing and ever-changing landscape. You're changing who you play. You're changing how you have to respond to it. You have to, there's always a new thing in how you approach to win the game. When it comes to an MMO, MMOs are often the players of an MMO, the players of a massive multi-online player base, is waiting for new content to come out, or they play PvP. Now, there's a lot of PvP options. There's 2 options to playing an MMO game, and that's either PvE, player versus environment, like playing versus the computer, or PvP, player versus player. There's lots of combinations that you can do with that, but that's essentially what it comes down to. The node system allows you to go and attack another, create a PvP challenge. I think it's up to 4 days. I might be wrong, but we can even say a week. They give players in their own shard, in their own server, enough time that they can join the event, so it's not just a bum rush and it happens without you because you had to work, or you had an event, you had to deal with friends, you had to deal with family, you had life to attend to. They give you days in advance before a quote unquote siege happens with one guild or one citadel versus another city. And the brilliance is that within an MMO, you're always waiting for the people at the very top to get their, let's just say, their act together. You are always in the incumbent. Hopefully I got the word correctly. The incumbent? I think I'm using that word in the wrong place. But you're always at the behest. I think that's the word I'm looking for. At the behest of the people at the top to bring you new content. But when you have an ever-shifting landscape, meaning when a guild chooses to go and claim a settlement in one of these 150 nodes, the nodes around them become closed and they shift and change. Meaning, if there's that volcano in the distance, if there's a settlement that you can select around it, you go and capture it. But the valleys and the water landmarks around where you could have also selected become closed, but they change. Meaning they turn into quest areas or resource veins in which you can go and gather and then go into your volcano camp, build a cathedral, and then people can come and storm it and stuff. I want to keep harping on that because it's so awesome of an idea. As an MMO, you're always waiting for new content to come out. You're always waiting for the developers to bring something new to the table so you can go and claim dominance over it, have a conquest over it, win and claim your spoils. But when it comes to Ashes of Creation, the CEO was incredibly smart. He was genius in creating this one factor. As an MMO, as a player with this MMO, you're not waiting for the developers, the management. You're not waiting for anything to be released. You're just acting how you want, and if you want to go and claim these big, rich spoils, these things that are just massive that you can get, well, all you have to do, it's waiting for you. It's already there, and it's based off other players' conquests. It's based off of other guilds gathering resources, developing their own settlement, turning it into a massive city, whatever they invested within that city, and then you can go and claim it. By that alone, there is a PvP system. Don't get me wrong. I prefer PvE. That's why I phrased it that way. I prefer PvE. I love PvP, and I'm kind of old school. I love the World of Warcraft where you have a target. You're not aiming with the mouse. But that's my preference. I don't think that's bad. It's just, or any other methods like Guild Wars 2. I think Guild Wars 2 is pretty cool of an idea. Again, game style, gameplay, it's not really me. I know that Ashes of Creation is going to be a little bit, I think the point and click, or at least you aim with the mouse or something. Again, it's something I'm just going to have to get used to. I'm looking forward to the game. I've been looking forward to the game ever since that I heard of it. Not in I think it was announced in 2015. I might have heard of it then, but I didn't know the scope of it. I knew that that it was coming for a while, maybe a few years. I think back in 2018. But within this last year, in 2020, not 2021, man, I've just been looking forward to this every single day, this one little aspect. And I'm actually creating my own magic system, my own universe, my own storyline, trying to think of it in a new game, the mechanics that I can add. And I keep coming down to I'm developing the class system, whether or not it will be a class system, whether I just want everybody to have powers, but I have to categorize that in a certain way. How do I do the magic system? Does the magic have magics have certain properties to them? The light, the shadow, the magics, the nature, is it animal and beast, so on and so forth. So I'm just trying to categorize it in my mind and doing it by myself. And it's a lot of labor that I would say, but I'd highly recommend doing that with yourself. Just if you have an idea for a book, go ahead and write it. Write down about 1,000 words. Boom, you're done. Then you can expand upon that with the next day. So I highly recommend with that. I'm kind of getting sidetracked, but with this MMO, with Ashes of Creation, I'm kind of on a repeat. It's get to the point already. Ashes of Creation, this MMO, is such a phenomenal thing that's coming out. We've needed it in the MMO RPG community. Not even just well, I would say RPG. I was thinking fantasy, but you don't need to have fantasy. You can just RPG. Much like EVE Online. It's not a fantasy. Well, technically it's sci-fi, so it does technically count as a fiction, sort of. That gamers needed to have a method in which, as an MMO, you're not waiting for the people at the top. You're not like a dead MMO would be City of Heroes. NCSoft really did, if I understand correctly, NCSoft with City of Heroes, they weren't finding the profitability of City of Heroes to be where they needed to be. So when they sold it off, they decompartmentalized everything, and it was a scrap. It went to a shop. Everybody, different companies bought different intellectual properties of City of Heroes. Somebody downloaded the entire game before that happened. They were able to start playing it up until I think of 2018. I think it was 2018 or 2019. I don't think it was 2020. Yeah. But they've been playing it for years, and then they just released it to the public. They don't require any service. It's all donations. They can't do that legally. So the only thing they can do is donations. But it's a dead game. But there's different servers with different developers coming out, but it's at their own speed. It's like they can only develop it as quickly as they possibly can. Rift, it's a dead game. It's only coming out with as much as they possibly can at their own speed. Same thing with Heroes of the Storm. I'm not a massive fan of Heroes of the Storm. I love playing it from time to time, just on as a private game. But there's not much that's been developed with that game. World of Warcraft, they did phenomenal things with the game. They've brought in some new players. I'm trying to think of that one company that Belluar Gaming was talking about, where the people who did the remake or the redo of Crash Bandicoot with all 3 games, with the remastered version, they brought that company into World of Warcraft, and I think World of Warcraft will have another successful expansion, but it's not gonna be anything as great as we once saw. We probably will see a phenomenal World of Warcraft game that will be very good for the intended audience, but I don't think that there's massive peoples coming to it anymore. It's a dying company, but it's going to take about a decade before it's gone. That's so. And there's other games that are going to be taking its place, like Ashes of Creation. Ashes of Creation, man. Any of the MMOs that are out there, you have to at least respect one aspect of a constantly and ever-shifting environment. Or at least I'd like to think so. A constantly and ever-shifting environment, just like a battle royale or essentially a PvP game, where you're like Call of Duty or Titanfall 2, one of my favorite games, specifically because of the single-player campaign. I love that. Campaign is absolutely beautiful. But this is such groundbreaking things where it's going to keep people engaged. It's going to have people constantly shifting their attention rather than accumulating a piece of gear. Rather than working and grinding for a piece of gear, they're going to be so focused on the activities that are happening within the people around them. They may want to be a solo player. I'm rather of a solo player. I love PvPing. I love being in the fight, but I rather like to do my own thing. But when I'm in this game, I will have to focus on what other people are doing in the game, because if there's going to be a siege, which side do I want to be on? Do I want to abandon the guild that I have to go to another guild? And if I do that, what's the relationship like? Because people are going to be paying more attention to that. It's phenomenal with what they're trying to do. I don't think it'll be groundbreaking in almost any other sense. I think it'll be pretty good. Like, the class system is one of the key selling points within Ashes of Creation, because they're going to have one of the biggest ones that are coming out, one of the biggest examples, or the most talked about example with the class system, is that you get to choose 8 original classes, ranging from fighter to bard, to sorcerer, or I think it's wizard. I might be wrong on that. And that's your base class. So if you selected a fighter, you have a charge ability. That charge ability at level 25, with 50 being the cap, you get to select a second class. You can select another fighter class, But the secondary class is to enhance your core abilities. And one of the biggest examples, one of the most talked about ones, is with charge. As a fighter, getting charge, you can you can rush to the target, I think stun them and get an instant attack. But if you chose a mage, you get teleport. So for your secondary ability, it enhances and alters your core ability. As a core ability charge with fighter, your mage secondary is teleport. That will augment, or it will modify your charge ability to, instead of being a rush, which takes about 1 second to get to the target, blink, that teleport automatically gets you to the target. And again, a modification of your core abilities, and there's 64 classes, and each one of them has a counter to others, so there's this balance system. I think this phenomenal. This MMO is going to be great. I really just wanted to make this video because I wanted to put on record of where I'm at with this game. I'm really grateful for all the people out there that have actually produced videos to help streamline the content for, instead of reading about it, watching an update for about an hour, and then summarizing it all down to 5, 10, 15 minutes. I'm grateful for that. Thank you for everybody out there in the Ashes of Creation community. Y'all have been here for years before me and probably be here years after me. So I might play, I'll enjoy myself. The Ashes of Creation is a phenomenal game. It needs to be up there in recognition whether or not you play the game. Titanfall 2, regardless of whether or not there's many people that haven't played the game, I would say, based off the numbers, the sales numbers, it's a phenomenal game. But not many people have played it, which is an unfortunate thing. I want to boost games. I want to boost... that was pretty funny. I want to boost things that I possibly can to the best degree that I can. And with that being said, that's actually a great transition. That's all I have to say. This MMO, it's gonna be big, just like in Hercules. If I remember correctly, in Hercules, the one of the three sisters, one of the three fates, says to one of the demons, I think it's the fat or the skinny demon. I don't know if it's the fat one or the skinny one. Nudges him in like indoor plumbing. It's gonna be big because she's the sister of the future or the fate of the future, so she can see that. That's pretty funny. Anyways, thank you for being a part of this. Please post your comments, questions, concerns right down below, because commenting does add many things to the algorithm to help boost this video. And please hit that like button. That like button really does help. I really do want to hear from you. Like, what can I do more of? What can I do less of? What do you want me to talk about? That'd be great. That would be great. And hitting that subscribe button, because boosting up subscribe numbers, you gotta respect where you come from. Yeah, it's something that I've recognized earlier, and I probably should just stop the video, but something that really hit me is that I've probably taken a lot of people for granted. I was so focused on the numbers that I actually fell too far down and relapsed trying to chase the numbers, that I chased the wrong content that I didn't really care about, but really got me motivated to just post content that I didn't care about. This is the type of content that I do love to produce. And every single person that gives you a view, you got to honor and respect that person. They gave you your time. They didn't have to click on any of my material. They chose my material to click on. That's phenomenal. Even if I only get one, not 10, one person who likes the content that I produce. I would say it's like a one-way conversation, but it's like having a conversation with somebody. They want to listen to what I have to say. That's phenomenal. That's amazing. That's stupendous. Oh, man. Anyways, thank you for being a part of this, and I'll see you next time. Boop.